Let us start the discussion of question answers from the chapter Madam Rides the Bus. I have taken the questions from oral comprehension check part also and then thinking about the text also. So let us discuss questions from oral comprehension check first. What was Wally's favorite pastime? Her favorite pastime was to stand in front of doorway of her house and watch what was happening in the street outside. What was a source of unending joy for Wally? What was her strongest desire? A source of unending joy for Wally was the sight of the bus that traveled between her village and the nearest town. Filled with a new set of passengers each time it passed through her street, a stronger desire was to ride on that bus. What did Wally find out about the bus journey? How did she find out these details? Wally found out that the town was 6 miles from her village. The fare was 30 paise one way. The trip to the town took 45 minutes. On reaching the town, if she stayed in her seat and paid another 30 paise, she could return home on the same bus. She found out these details by listening carefully to the conversations between her neighbors and the people who regularly used the bus. She also gained information by asking them a few questions. What do you think Wally was planning to do? Answer is very simple. Wally was planning to travel on that bus. Next part of oral comprehension check. Question 1. Why does the conductor call Wally Madam? Wally is trying to behave more mature than her age. She is trying to look overconfident and smart. The conductor is amused at her behavior and in an effort to tease her calls her Madam. Question 2. Why does Wally stand up on the seat? What does she see now? Wally stood up on her seat because her view was cut off by a canvas blind that covered the lower part of a window. She stood up to look over the blind. She saw that her road was very narrow, on one side of which there was the canal, and beyond it were palm trees, grassland, distant mountain, and the blue sky. On the other side, there was a deep ditch and many acres of green fields. What does Wally tell the elderly man when he calls her a child? When the elderly man called her a child, Wally told him that there was nobody on the bus who was a child. She had paid her fare of 30 paise like everyone else. Why didn't Wally want to make friends with the elderly woman? There was an elderly woman traveling by the bus and she was trying unnecessarily to become a friend with her, but Wally didn't want. That is the question about. The elderly woman was having big earlobes with bigger holes. She was chewing betel nut and the betel juice was about to seep out of her mouth. She was giving a sight of unrefined elderly lady. That is why Wally did not want to make friends with her. How did Wally save up money for her first journey? Was it easy for her? The answer is Wally saved every coin that came her way. She made great sacrifices by controlling her normal childish urges of having candies, toys, and joyrides. This must have been difficult for her. Kids find it very difficult to savor a candy or to enjoy a toy. What did Wally see on her way that made her laugh? Wally saw a young cow whose tail was high in the air, running right in front of the bus in the middle of the road. The bus slowed and the driver sounded his horn loudly. However, the more he honked, the more frightened the cow became, and it kept running faster and faster right in front of the bus. Wally found it so amusing that she had tears in her eyes. At last, the cow moved off the road. Why didn't she get off the bus at the bus station? She did not get off the bus at the bus station because she had to go back on that same bus. She took out another 30 paise from her pocket and handed the coins to the conductor. She just wanted to ride on the bus. Question 4. Why didn't Wally want to go to the stall and have a drink? What does this tell you about her? Wally did not want to go to the stall and have a drink because she did not have any money for that. Even when the conductor offered her a cold drink free of charge, she refused firmly and said that she only wanted her ticket. This shows that Wally had a lot of self will and pride. Possibly, she did not want to take anything for free, particularly from a stranger. Thinking about text question. Question number 1. What was Wally's deepest desire? Find the words and phrases in the story that tell you this. Though we already have done this, let us revise it. Wally's deepest desire was to ride on the bus she saw every day. The sentences in the story which depict this are as follows: day after day she watched the bus, and gradually a tiny wish crept into her head and grew there. So, this is how you can write down the answer. Question number 2 is this: how did Wally plan her bus ride? What did she find out about the bus, and how did she save up the fare? Though we already have done it, for your just revision, you can read it and then write down in your notebooks. This is the same question that we just have done in the oral comprehension section. This question also has been earlier discussed, but because it's a little longer, so I have taken up it again. Why does the conductor refer to Wally as madam? When the conductor stretched out his hand to help her get on the bus, Wally said commandingly that she could get on by herself and that she did not require his help. She did not act like a child but as a grown up girl, and therefore the conductor called her madam. When the elderly man called her a child and asked her to sit down on her seat, she replied that nobody was a child on the bus. She kept stressing on the fact that she had paid for her fare like everybody else, and therefore she should not be treated differently. Find the lines in the text which tell you that Wally was enjoying her ride on the bus. So these are the exact lines picked from the text. If you wish, you can write down, otherwise just understand this question. Question number 6 is: why does Wally refuse to look out of the window on her way back? I hope the answer is known to everybody. Wally refused to look out of the window on her way back because she saw a young cow lying dead by the roadside, just where it had been struck by the same fast moving vehicle. It was the same cow that was running in front of their bus during their trip to the town. She was overcome with sadness. The memory of the dead cow haunted her, and therefore she refused to look out of the window. Question number 7: what does Wally mean when she says, I was just agreeing with what you said about things happening without our knowledge? These are the last lines of the chapter. Wally's mother said that many things happen around us, but we are usually unaware of them. Wally had gone on a bus ride to town all alone and had come back without any harm. She did all this without the knowledge of her mother. Hence, she agreed with what her mother said, that there are so many things which are happening around us and we even do not about them. Like her mother did not know that she had slipped out of house and already had a ride on a bus and then come back home. Question number 8. The author describes the thing that Wally sees from an 8-year-old's point of view. Can you find evidence from the text for this statement? The author has described the things that Wally saw from an 8-year-old's point of view. She was fascinated by a bus. Watching the bus filled with a new set of people each time was a source of unending joy for her. Her strongest desire was to ride the bus. See, all these could have been the desires of an 8-year-old child, not a grown-up. She saved money by cutting on peppermint, toy, balloon, and even resisting the temptation to ride the merry-go-round at the fair. When the author describes the bus, the points he stresses on are the color and the look of the bus. It was a new bus, painted a gleaming white. The overhead bars shone like silver. The seats were soft and luxurious. The description that the author gives when Wally looked outside are also typical for an 8-year-old. The blue sky and the acres and acres of green fields, green. These all show the enthusiasm of a kid. Looking at different colors, Wally clapped her hands in glee on seeing a cow moving in front of the bus. She found it so funny that tears came into her eyes. On the other hand, she was overcome with sadness on her way back when she saw the same cow lying dead. It had been a lovable, beautiful creature, and later it looked so horrible. The memory of the dead cow haunted her so much that she refused to look outside the window. So these are all the typical reactions of a young child, and here we come to an end of the question answers discussion. Thank you. Keep reading.